Getting teenagers more help for their mental health could cut down on teenage drug use. According to a recent CDC study, the top reasons teenagers say that they use drugs or alcohol is to cope with stress and to manage depression or anxiety. Joining us live this Mental Health Monday is Dr. Kojo Sarfo. Dr. Kojo, thank you so much for being with us. Why are our kids so stressed?
That's a loaded question. I want to say thank you for having me on. And on behalf of the youth today, there are so many struggles that I've been seeing in the clinic and online. And I think that we haven't fully recovered from the pandemic. You know, the pandemic was 4 years ago, but the effects are still being seen today. A lot of kids are not able to connect with other individuals. There's so much isolation. I'm seeing apathy amongst the youth. And one of the best ways for them to fix their problems in the immediate moment is drugs. But as we know, that's a terrible long-term solution. So it's a good thing that we're talking about it now.
Doctor, what is the takeaway from the recent CDC report on teenage and substance abuse?
It appears to validate what we've been seeing in the clinic, that not only are teens using substances more, but they're using it to cope with their mental health issues. And the unfortunate thing about it is the numbers are rising. It looks like teens are using more and more, and we're not able to fix the sink. So we're not able to fix the well. So we're trying to fix the sink, and we're trying to fix one temporary problem with, other, like we'll give kids brochures and we'll tell them to work on their mental health. But what parents are seeing is that the kids are resorting to drug use, and it is fixing the problem in the immediate moment, but it's causing more and more issues. And this is how we see teens who turn into adults who have issues. And when you have adults who are able to function and work and they kind of fly under the radar, you don't pick up on the warning signs of substance use until there's unfortunately a tragic outcome.
And what makes it so troublesome, I guess, is that teenagers, their brains are still developing. So how does substance use impact that development? What are the long-term consequences?
Well, the long-term consequences are quite shocking. As we know, the brain is still developing during those formative years. And one of the most common questions I get is okay if I can vape or use marijuana or alcohol? And for the average adult who's 25, 26, maybe you can use these things sparingly. I'm not encouraging it, but especially when your brain is still forming, it slows down your potential to form all the neural pathways that you need. So a lot of times you see individuals who start cannabis use at an early age, and the risk of schizophrenia increases, the risk of depression, anxiety increases, psychosis, we see that a lot. And of course, the drugs are used to dissociate from the current reality. But after so many years, unfortunately, we see that your executive functioning is not where it used to be. So that's why a lot of people will say things like they feel like they have ADHD or they can't focus. And it's just really an accumulation of all the substance use over the years, unfortunately.
Now, you mentioned schizophrenia. So if you are vaping at an early age and you have no genetic predisposition in your family to become a schizophrenic, vaping and using marijuana, you can eventually go into schizophrenia?
That's what the evidence appears to be suggesting. And I would always tell my patients for many years, if you have a strong family history of bipolar disorder and or schizophrenia, to be careful with things like cannabis. But according to the literature, it seems to suggest that individuals who don't even have schizophrenia or thought disorders in their family history, when exposed to things like marijuana, and especially with vaping, we're seeing lung injury with vaping and with cannabis use recreationally. And some kids start as early as 12, 13. I've had kids who told me that they started at age 9 and 10. So when you see that type of drug use over the years, it does, in my opinion, increase the risk of thought disorders such as schizophrenia.
And is this because the marijuana these days is so much more powerful than, say, 30 years ago?
I do believe that is one of the reasons. And on top of that, we're not able to steady all of the strains because you're seeing all these different strains coming out. And then sometimes people will mix it with different substances for it to become more potent. So that's one of the many underlying reasons why I think it's risky to just engage in recreational substance use. Not to say that it can't be helpful because in the elderly population, sometimes we will use THC to stimulate appetite. So there can be a medicinal use for it, but the way that it's being used nowadays, it truly does concern me. I'm seeing a link with increased use with rising rates of depression. I've had patients who had suicide attempts, and when you talk to them and you unearth and uncover what's at the core of their issues, it's a lot of depression and anxiety. So it's something that we should definitely be talking about a lot more.
Dr. Kojo, at what point should parents get their teenager professional help? What are the warning signs?
As soon as they can, as soon as you see one thing that's concerning, whether it's the appetite changes, whether their sleep-wake cycles have been disturbed, whether your child just appears to be more withdrawn, at the first sign of any potential substance use, I would look into professional help. And the unfortunate thing about it is a lot of teens are not comfortable talking to their parents. And parents sometimes want to be that buddy to talk to their kids, and they want to hear all of the information about what's going on in their life. But I tell parents that if the child has at least one person that they trust in their life, that they can be upfront and open and honest with, that goes a long way. Even if it's not the parent, just somebody that they can confide in confidentially, that can be a big step into helping them with professional help.
Yeah, because teens will frequently lie to their parents about marijuana use.
All the time, and it's coming from a place of shame and not wanting to disappoint their parents, but they found something that helps to cope with negative emotions and something that's helped them cope with the isolation that we've been seeing because everybody's felt so disconnected the past couple of years. So it's almost as if you have something that's been helping you out a lot, but at the same time, you know that there's a lot of shame and stigma around it, and you can't be upfront about it.
Interesting.
And we see a lot of who are even high performing, who are able to keep the substance use away from their family members and loved ones. But I tend to worry more about them because they fly under the radar.
Interesting. Okay. Dr. Kojo Sarfo, thank you so much for joining us and shedding light on this really important topic. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.